Okay, let's get started now. So, pipe in whenever you get a chance. You could unmute yourself briefly if you want to ask a question. I want you to ask questions as much as you want to, obviously. So today we're going to talk about weight management, and it's not really about weight loss. It's about weight management because we all gain weight in different ways, and we do have a whole I guess a cultural, an American, or possibly a worldwide issue. But I know in the United States they're saying that 90% of women and 80% of men are over fat. So we are dealing with a lot of weight gain. And, one would think that, is this our food? Is it, the way we eat? And a lot of what they're finding out is it's not really how much we're eating. And it's not, part of everything's kind of contributing. But what we're finding out is that a lot of weight gain that we experience is caused by chemicals in our food. So I'm going to discuss some of those chemicals first, and then we're going to discuss some ways to kind of take control of that. My papers. Can you grab my papers off the printer, Kira? I left them out there. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with different chemicals in our environment, and I've been studying this for about 25 years now. I started in 1992 when I was pregnant with my first child. And that's when I kind of did a lot of research on chemicals, and that's when I started the organic mattress and bedding business that I ran and my parents are running now. And I did a lot of research on chemicals and how chemicals were affecting us, how they were in our environment, and some of the things that we still find today. And we've known about them for a long time, but it hasn't been real public knowledge. I mean, it's out there on the internet. We do have public knowledge, but it's not something that you see on the news or anything like that. So we're not seeing how we're putting on all this weight, what's causing us to gain all this weight. And so what we have found is that we have a lot of toxins in our environment. And these toxins, they're calling them obesogens. Makes sense, right? And they find that these toxins are disrupting the function of our hormones. And so they're altering our gut biome. They're causing an imbalance of the good and the bad bacteria, right? And that's why we find that we do well a lot of times if we add a probiotic to our diet. So a lot of people add probiotics as one of the things to help with that. And that imbalance that we're causing in our body from the chemicals that we're consuming and exposed to are giving us, we have confused hunger cues. We have our metabolism is kind of slowing down. We have an increase in fat cells and fat storage, and all of those lead to weight gain. They've also been shown to increase your risk of heart disease, obviously diabetes, high cholesterol. These kind of all go with that whole weight gain thing. So when you're choosing to eat non-organic foods, you are unfortunately getting a lot of different chemicals that you would be mostly avoiding in organic foods, of course. And some of them are things like there is triflumizole is one. That's a fungicide. It's used on a lot of food crops, especially on leafy greens, and they've linked that to weight gain. So if you think you're doing the right thing, you get out this great salad, you get all this lettuce in there, and you try to use that really low-fat dressing, right, and everything. But unfortunately, that chemical that's been added to that crop and is still on the lettuce, even if you try to wash it off, it's still in there in the lettuce. You're still have that, you're still consuming that. And they found that in a study of it, they found that when they gave pregnant mice tiny doses of triflumizole, that they gave birth to babies that were more prone to obesity. And they decided that it was probably the fungicide acting as an obesogen in the body. And then other research since then has kind of backed up that whole theory. It has not really been tested in humans yet, but that is our indication of this is probably one of the issues that we're dealing with. And then most of these chemicals that we use on our crops, they are endocrine disrupting. So if the endocrine disrupting chemicals tend to promote fat storage, and they kind of undermine our body's ability to build that lean muscle that we'd rather have, right? So we try to figure out, what are we going to do? We can do organic produce ideally, because they are more expensive, but we don't get all that weight gain with it. And that's really important, because weight gain slows us down. And we all know weight gain's bad for us, right? We all want to be a good weight. That's our goal, right? Now, we also found that they published in the Journal of Environmental Health Perspectives, and they showed that it took just 5 days of eating just organic fruits and veggies and avoiding, the most common oversaturated conventional ones. Because there's certain things that you eat conventionally, and conventionally means non-organic. So if you eat conventional foods, certain vegetables tend to have a very low amount of chemicals on them just because of the type of vegetable they are. So we see some that are high in chemicals, like grapes are really high in chemicals, cherries are high in chemical, apples, some of these are really high in their chemical content, and the leafy greens. And you can see why. I mean, things that are prone to fungus, obviously, things that are prone to certain insects eating them, of course, would be the ones that are sprayed most often with these chemicals. So they found that that just takes 5 days of avoiding those chemicals to reduce the pesticide-based obesogens to undetectable levels. So this is something we can detect in our bodies, and to get them to an undetectable level, all we have to do is do 5 days of a clean diet. So that's a very interesting study, and it'd be really nice to take it, one step further and see, does that then result in an overall weight loss, right? And then the other obesogens that we have in our food, we got emulsifiers. I'm sure you've seen those. They're added a lot of time to mayonnaise, salad dressings, and they do, again, create that bacterial imbalance, and that'll lead to metabolic syndrome. And they have done this, again, they did trigger, they did, give it to mice, and it did trigger obesity in the animals, but it also caused things such as colitis. So we saw that is definitely more of an issue. And then the emulsifiers, they're kind of hidden in our foods. I don't know if you know what they are, and you kind of have to research to find out. Some of them are listed something like polysorbates. You've probably seen that on some of your groceries. Sorbitan monostearate, another one you'll see on your food labels. And those are ones you want to try to avoid, because those are the emulsifiers. And those those are really going to affect your body, and it is going to then affect your gaining of weight and make it harder for you to lose weight if that's what you're trying to do, right? And of course, we also know that when we treat cattle and livestock and stuff, they're treated with antibiotics, hormones. We know that we get those too. And again, these also show that these lead to weight gain. And they have done, these studies have been out, I'm going to say probably about 30 years. I've been reading various studies on hormone imbalance and chemicals in our environment, which is kind of what led me to my decision to go all organic, 25 years ago. So it's something that is well studied, but there isn't, there's not really anything, I would say, definitive. A lot of these are just studies. They're random studies here and there, but they do all seem to lead a general direction that, we're putting a lot of toxic chemicals in our bodies, and that's what's really causing our weight gain more than anything. Is making us hungrier. It's making us want to eat more and feel like we're hungry. We're getting mixed signals in our body. And, if we can get those out of our environment, get those chemicals out, then it'll be easier for us to start the process of losing the weight that we want to lose, right? Now, we also found that when that mice that were exposed to antibiotics, they found that they had decreased levels of T cells. And what the T cells are, that has to do with your immune system. So that impaired their immune system, and also had the other effect of making them gain weight more easily again. So all of this is something that we're seeing over and over again. So what we're looking for is antibiotic and hormone-free meats and dairies, right? We want organic, we want free range, we want grass-fed. Grass-fed is also very big, important over grain-fed, obviously. And then we have something that a lot of people aren't aware of, but the PFOA that's in our nonstick cookware has been something that's been studied for a very long time as well. And they've seen over and over all these problems linked to our nonstick cookware. So if you can get those out and get those levels down, then you're going to, again, be fighting that whole weight gain issue. Now, they did do, so what they did in UC Irvine, this is interesting, because they took these mice and they had a normal diet. And they were exposed to the tributylene before the birth. Okay, so that's found in vinyl products. It's found in treated wood. And that's one of the things that they're doing a lot of tests now. And they found that it triggers greater fat cells and an increased appetite. So, we don't know, we can't really do human studies because we can't tell how much we've been exposed to. But, we want to be aware of that and try to avoid those. Try to avoid having things that are in plastic. Go to the store and take a cloth bag with you to put your groceries, your produce in, instead of those little plastic green bags at the store, so that you don't get a lot of that chemical in it. Now, something we have done as a culture, which is great that we've done lately, is they have, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're taking BPA out of a lot of things. So your bisphenol A, BPA, that one you've probably seen taken out of so many products. It's no longer in baby bottles. It's no longer allowed in baby toys, things that they would put in their mouth. They're taking it out of a lot of our plastics in general. So that's a great step in the right direction, because that is a huge percentage of what we were having trouble with our weight gain, because it was throwing off our bodies so much. And they did find, they found that there were soups, juice, tuna, green beans, all of these things had BPA in them. So now they're in the process of getting all that out. And you wonder, why does tuna have it in it? And I'm going to guess and say, tuna, the way they eat, the kind of things they eat, and where they're located, they probably get a lot of our runoff. So if we're eating, if we have all this stuff and it's got BPAs in it, it's getting into our oceans, tuna's getting it, and then it's getting to us. So we want to be definitely aware of that. Now, so some of the things you want to do the mesh bag when you go to the store. Look for foods that are BPA free. That's super easy now. I think, I'm going to say almost all foods are labeled BPA free now. But, look for them in case there's maybe some of the really cheap stuff isn't BPA free. So keep looking for those. Cut back on the packaging, buy in bulk. And then a big thing, it's how we store our food. So if you have older containers, they might still have BPA in them, but even things like polyethylene, polypropylene, that would be your Tupperware or Rubbermaid containers, those still are endocrine disruptors. There are safer ones, luckily, but they are still an endocrine disruptor. It's going to promote weight gain. And so if you can, when you're storing things, especially if you're storing hot things or when exposed to heat, it releases the gases more. You get more of the chemical. So try to store those things in glass. We have those great glass containers now with just the plastic lids. So the plastic lids are that harder plastic, so they shouldn't have the BPA in them, because that was generally a plastic softener. And the food isn't touching the plastics. That's about the best we can do right now. So, using those glass containers would be a much better option if you're trying to, lose weight and not be exposed to the chemicals. And, when you are out and about, so many of us use those plastic water bottles, and they're starting to really get big on these glass water bottles. So I use a glass water bottle now with the plastic around it, because I'm really klutzy. I'll probably drop this a gazillion times. I don't want to break it. So this is what you should be using. Those water bottles that we carry around, that we buy and carry them around, those do leach plastic. And I personally can taste the plastic in those if I leave it out for a day at room temperature. It gets kind of warm, and then the plastics get released, and then I can taste it. It tastes nasty to me. And then you don't know how the stores have handled it. They don't keep them cold. They just come on a truck. They're not refrigerated. So they are getting plastics that are leaching into your water. So as much as possible, use an actual good water bottle, get some kind of a good water filtration system in your home, and try not to expose your water, especially to all those chemicals in there. Stainless steel is also okay if you want to use stainless steel. And then again, when you're heating foods in your microwave, which I'm not a real big fan of anyway, because that's a whole nother issue with chemicals. But when you're heating foods in the microwave or storing, try to use those glass containers instead of plastic, and that will help a lot. And then, of course, you're looking for your natural products. Look for them throughout the house. Look for your labels. Make sure your labels don't say things like fragrance on them. So fragrance is another huge endocrine disruptor. I'm personally very allergic to it. A lot of people can handle it just fine. But when you're exposed to that, you are making your body create more fat cells. They reproduce faster. You're throwing off the balance of your body. So now we're going to figure out, what do we do? So what do we do about all this? Okay, so we know that we've been exposed to this, and we can't avoid it, right? So what are we going to do about that? So one of the things that we can do is we can use our essential oils to help us, deal with the amount that we are getting, because we're all going to be exposed to some. We're going to, avoid as much as possible, but there's really no way to avoid everything, right? We're not perfect. So here's some of the things that I've learned about the essential oils and how that works. One is that Lifelong Vitality Pack. You think it's just a vitamin, it's just adding nutrition, but it does a lot. It's really meant to balance your body really well, bring up your immune system, and those things in by themselves are going to help you in your weight loss efforts if you're trying to lose weight, or even if you're trying to build muscle. So, you may not be overweight and you just might be trying to build muscle, but again, these chemicals in our environment are fighting us on that, where they're making it really hard for us to build that muscle and to get toned and look and feel the way we want to look and feel. So some of the oils that they've had great success with is grapefruit oil is number one. So that one, I know that it does activate enzymes that help your body break down the body fat. And we know that oil comes from the peel, right? And it has a lot of D-limonene in it. So that supports the metabolism and cleansing and draining of your lymphatic glands. So, a lot of times if our lymph system gets clogged, we can get sick from our lymph system getting clogged, but we can also, it makes us hold on to weight because our system is clogged. So anytime we clog our system, if we clog our intestines, if we clog our lymph system, anything that we're doing in our bodies like that is going to make it more difficult for us to shed those excess pounds. Grapefruit can be used in so many different ways. So you have one way, of course, is you can put it in your water, put a few drops in your water in one of these glass bottles, right? You can diffuse it. Even diffusing is a great way to help in weight loss. It does activate enzymes in your saliva, and that also helps break down body fat. And they have also mentioned, and I didn't know this before I started doing research on this, but you mix it with patchouli oil. So when grapefruit oil is mixed with patchouli oil, it helps lower hunger cravings. So if hunger cravings for you is a big issue, if that is a way that you are gaining weight that you don't want to gain, then try using patchouli and grapefruit. It seems odd to me because patchouli is really strong. But it's that mix that works really well. So you can consume both of those. And I've never consumed patchouli. I don't think I've consumed it. I doubt it. But you can consume it. You can diffuse it also, and you can massage it onto your body. Just remember that grapefruit is a sun sensitizer. So if you're going out in the hot sun afterwards, don't put grapefruit on your skin. Okay, so that is one of the oils. Another oil, it might surprise a lot of people, is the cinnamon oil. So that's the second best oil to support weight loss is cinnamon oil. It regulates your blood glucose levels and your glucose tolerance factor. So it's great for people with diabetes even. It helps balance your blood sugar, which helps with the weight loss, and it helps reduce the cravings for sugar because it's that imbalance, of course, that leads to you getting hungry and leads to your energy getting lower. And then, of course, combined definitely adds to your ability to gain weight, right? And you can add the cinnamon oil. You can add it to a lot of things. I actually added it the other day. What did I add it to? Oh, I made coffee cake. So here's coffee cake, nice and sugary and stuff like that. But I did add the cinnamon oil to help a little bit with breaking down all that extra stuff. So that does help slow the rate at which the glucose is released in the blood. So, and it was really good. I put 2 or 3 drops in the dough itself, the coffee cake recipe, and then another couple drops in the cinnamon sugar. You didn't know that, did you, Kira? I did. Yes. Okay, so that's another thing. And then we got ginger oil. So ginger reduces the sugar cravings and also reduces inflammation. So that's something that, more important than the other two for the inflammation thing. If you're trying to, when you're going to lose weight, you want to reduce your inflammation. You want to keep your digestion. You want to make sure you're absorbing the nutrients that you are consuming. And the compounds in ginger, the gingerols, have been scientifically proven to reduce the disease-causing inflammation in your intestines and improve overall absorption of the vitamins and minerals that you are taking. So, if you're taking, let's say you're taking the Lifelong Vitality Pack, you want to make sure those get absorbed as much as possible. You don't want to just lose a bunch of that, right? So you want to have a way to absorb it, and that would be something like ginger. And that will help your cellular energy. And in fact, in that Lifelong Vitality Pack, you've seen it. One of them is the cellular energy complex, right? And that will help with the weight loss. And you want to remember that it's a very slow process. It needs to be, because you're reducing toxins, the toxic load in your body, and you're trying to lose weight. And if you lose weight fast, I mean, statistics say 95% of people that lose a lot of weight gain it back within, I think it's a year, they gain it back. So that's not very good, right? And the reason why is they go on these fad diets and they're trying to lose weight really fast, and that is not how you need to lose weight. Your body has to keep restabilizing. So if you want to lose weight, and you want to, or if you want to just, tone and stuff like that, then you do as much combination as you can. So this is reducing your toxic loads so that your body can stabilize. Reducing the food intake is part of it. But I got to say, I mean, I'm not overweight. And I eat a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't eat. I do eat a lot of sugar. I eat a lot of fattening foods and things like that. But I do eat all organic, and I've been eating organic since 1992. So I rarely eat stuff that's not organic. I work really hard to make sure that I eat organic things. I've gotten all the toxins out of my environment. I got rid of the carpet. I don't use anything with fragrance in it, because fragrance has so many chemicals in it that just throw your system completely out of whack. So I think those things have been very helpful in keeping my weight down. So that's, definitely some things to think about. I have the Slim & Sassy here. So we know what Slim & Sassy is, right, from doTERRA. And the Slim & Sassy actually contains, let's see if I can read it. It has the grapefruit, the lemon, peppermint, ginger, and cinnamon. So those are, the 5 best oils. The lemon helps with just keeping your intestines clean. And if your intestines are cleaner, I don't know if you've ever used lemon oil pure, but it eats grease like you would not believe. So you can just imagine what it does in your intestines. It just kind of, gets rid of all the grease and all the stuff stopping you up. And then, of course, peppermint makes sense because it is a great anti-inflammatory and a great system kind of stimulator, right? So the metabolic blend is great. I find it very strong. I actually prefer to take it direct in my mouth and do a water chaser than put it in my water, because I don't want to keep tasting it over and over again all day long, because I don't really like it. It's really strong, but that is one of the things. And these are available in a soft gel. I don't know if you're trying to lose weight, that soft gel, the Slim & Sassy soft gels make it much easier to take it if you don't like the oil. So I want to take questions at this time. Did anybody want to speak? Anybody have any questions on this?
I just wanted to say I'm so glad you talked about the Vitality Pack, because I just ordered it and it just got here about a day ago. So I'm super excited now to take it.
Oh, you should be. Yeah. I didn't take it for a long time. I waited, and I actually got it free from doTERRA in one of their giveaway things. And it sat there for a long time, and I've never taken supplements, so I really didn't think I needed. I eat all organic, right? So I must be really healthy. But I have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia and narcolepsy. So, and my symptoms were pretty much in remission, and they resurfaced after a car accident. And I started to have some of the symptoms again. And so I finally decided, you know what, I'm just going to try it. Maybe I do need something. I did start taking it, and I didn't think I noticed any results at first. It wasn't until about a month in, I noticed I was seeing results. And then, of course, it was gone. So I didn't have any more, and I stopped taking it. And about a week later, I started to go, wow, it was making a big difference. I didn't realize how big a difference until I was not taking it. And so now I take it all the time. My kids are taking it. I know that the person that signed me up, she took it and got rid of plantar fasciitis. And they're seeing that a lot. A lot of problems that we have are actually just vitamin deficiencies that are affecting our immune system tremendously. And you think you're eating well, but there's just some things that PAC has, the omega-3s, which I probably wasn't getting. I mean, where am I going to go get fish on a regular basis? I eat fish every once in a while. I love fish, but it's not something, sitting in my kitchen where I can just go and grab some, fish chips or something like that. It's not that easy to get a hold of those omega-3s. And then it has the other blend has a lot of essential oils and some herbs in it that, of course, I wouldn't have been getting on a regular basis. So, yeah, I think you'll be really happy with the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And for anybody who doesn't know, doTERRA does have a guarantee on that. If you take it for the month, although you're supposed to, and you feel it really didn't do anything for you, you can actually return your empty bottles and get a full refund. So it does make it, something that everybody should definitely try. Any other questions?
No, but thanks again for talking about it. I've had mine for almost a year, and I still haven't used them, because I actually take some special vitamins that I really, really like. They're all natural and everything else, but I haven't tried it, and my fibro is really bad. I mean, my pain level daily is at a 7.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah. I was
I
like
think
that
I'm
for a
going to try that.
while. Yes, and I was sleeping all the time, and I couldn't get through a day without a nap or anything like that. And the main thing for me was getting rid of the chemicals. I mean, that's how I conquered it back in my 20s, because I was diagnosed in my early 20s, and I had to get all chemicals out of my environment. I mean, I just went through and got rid of all my chemicals, and that is, I think, what made it so I was asymptomatic for a very, very long time until something triggered it. So, and I'm asymptomatic again for both fibromyalgia and narcolepsy, which is supposedly impossible, but it is what it is. So I hope other people can have this kind of success, and, really trying that lifelong vitality pack. I will say, a lot of vitamins out there. I mean, there are obviously good vitamins out there. Some things to look for in your vitamins. Okay, you don't want any vitamin to be over about 200% RDA. Maybe the only exception being vitamin C. Because if you start having a lot of vitamins with high RDAs in, they got too much of this vitamin, you're really throwing your body off balance, because it's really designed to just kind of supplement what you're already, you're eating and everything like that, right? It's supposed to supplement that. And the other thing that you want to remember with the multivitamins that you're getting, you want to make sure they come from a whole source. So you saw the doTERRA things, they're all capsules. You never want to do tablets. Tablets a lot of times aren't what they say they are. There is no regulation in the industry, so you don't know. So be careful of that. And then be careful of a lot of extra vitamins that you just don't need. So that in the industry, they call fairy dusting when they take all these vitamins. We learned that at convention. They take, add all these different vitamins because it looks like a lot. You go there and you say, I can get this whole, multivitamin. It's got everything. It's got like 80 different things in it, everything I need. And that's not really what you want to do. That's an awful lot of vitamins. And we know that certain vitamins interact with each other. And so we have to be careful of the amount of things you take together, like taking calcium and iron together in high amounts. They bind together, and then we don't get either one. So we want to make sure that we're using them, properly. And doTERRA worked really hard to come out with just one multivitamin, because that's what they feel is what Americans need. Anything else, guys?
So the Vitality Pack should cover pretty much everything, because my big thing was hormones. My hormones changed. I just turned 40, so everything. I mean, I could do anything before 40 and didn't gain a pound, and now I'm doing twice as much gym, twice as much healthy eating, and still gaining. So that I'm hoping that that's gonna detox, cleanse, balance hormones, and all that.
Yeah, it'll do a lot of that. And yeah, it's that magic number 40. I noticed the same thing. When I hit 40, it's just like I reached, I think I looked my best at 39. I went up this hill, and then all of a sudden it's downhill. It's like you hit 40 and, you see your first really major wrinkles, and you're like, oh man, I'm starting to wrinkle, and
yeah,
and getting weaker, and you're all of a sudden the weight started to come all around the middle, right? So
yes.
that's what happens when you get older. So you want to fight that as much as you can. That's what I've been on this fight to do that. And at some point you might want to add the bone nutrient or the phytoestrogen. Those are good for women as they age, especially women. So some things to consider. And clary sage also would be another one, just to keep your hormones kind of in balance as you age. So what happens is, I talked to some other experts about, women when they age. So we don't want our cycles to end, because when your cycle ends, that's actually when you start aging much quicker. So when we enter menopause, we are entering the stage where we are going to really decline rapidly. So we really don't want that to happen. And you can extend that by keeping your body with good circulation. So exercise is excellent. Some of the circulation oils, maybe lemongrass or marjoram, to keep things circulating, especially if you get colds to the hands and feet and you're prone to poor circulation. Make sure you use those oils to help the circulation keep going. Exercise is great. Even bouts of small exercise, like even 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there, of something that just kind of gets everything kind of moving, right? So it doesn't have to be really intense workouts, although we want to keep our heart good too. So we do want to keep doing that. So it was nice to learn about all these different things that I talked to another person about that, and she was saying, yeah, because of our diets and everything like that, as we're aging, we are causing ourselves to age faster. So we're trying to slow that whole process down, and we can slow it down. We can make it so that we don't hit menopause till mid 50s or late 50s if we, can keep the circulation going and keep our diets well. And that's what I know, is because I'm 54. And so I actually started to enter that stage a few years ago, and I started using the oils about the same time. And then all of a sudden I kind of reversed, and now I know I'm younger now, I guess. So everything kind of reversed backwards. I think because I started using the oils. Any other questions, guys?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'll post this on our pages so that other people can see it who missed this. And then I will do another poll for what you guys want to talk about next week, so I know where to focus my research if I don't know the answers already. So make sure you look on the websites for the polls, and then keep telling other people about this. Keep sharing, and and your own stories. I mean, if you start using something and you haven't used it before, let's see some like before and after pictures, or let's see your progress and see how you feel about it, what you think about it. If you have any problems with it, if you have any concerns, reach out to me. I do use all the products, here and there. I haven't tasted patchouli, so that's my next one. I'm gonna taste patchouli and see how bad it tastes, because it smells really weird. But I'll give it a try, and I'll let you know what I think about that. But in the meantime, so if you're trying to lose weight, the easiest thing for all of us when we're just trying to shed a few pounds is put lemon and grapefruit, or lemon and peppermint, something like that. Peppermint's really strong. You only need 1 drop. But put it in your water and drink as much water as you can. That'll hydrate your skin and your body. And that, again, it's one of the simplest things you can do to help you in your whole weight loss endeavors. And don't expect a miracle. Don't expect it to go fast. It's not supposed to. It's a slow process, and the slower the process is for you, the more your body is able to rebalance in between, which means hopefully it'll be a long-term, benefits from any kind of weight loss or weight redistribution, if that's what we need to do, whatever we need to do for our bodies, so that we feel healthy, so that we have the energy we want to have, right? Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go. Bye. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Jenny. Bye.
Thanks.